Oh my God. I can't take it anymore. I couldn't even wait. We could have waited right till 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
But once I see your face come on the screen, it's like I can't wait to get
but are we
on.
like where are we friends now? I mean, what's the deal? Because
What?
well, Canada, U.S. It seems to be like
Ah,
this.
I'm a U.S. citizen now, baby. It's over.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great point there. Hold on, everybody. This is great. Mark Puttenvink, Patriot Training Systems. He can train. He trains the wind. Like we wanted more wind
Yeah.
today, so they just called Mark up and said, "Okay, let's get the wind going."
Yeah.
All right. So, but you know what? It is interesting. So everybody hasn't watched. I think the whole world has watched. If you're interested in hockey at all, Saturday night, big Canada-U.S. showdown. So within the first 9 seconds, they had 3 nasty little scraps there, and I tell you, like maybe I pass with that. That's not going to make a difference, but it really did. Like I didn't think Crosby did anything. Marner didn't do anything. Nathan McKinnon, who I love, he didn't do anything either. It's like they were scared after that, so that's obviously what the U.S. wanted to do. So
somebody just smoked Doughty behind him.
Yeah, that was Tkachuk. That was Brady Tkachuk. Yeah. Oh, is he unbelievable or what?
Oh, they're a wrecking crew, just the 2 of them.
Oh, and the way they act and everything towards her. There's one video they had of him. It was after Charlie McAvoy hit what's his name?
McDavid
a couple times.
Yeah.
And Brady stood up and goes, "I'm following your leadership. I'm following your leadership, Michelle." I was getting goosebumps watching this kid. Like he knows the whole leadership thing and how to do it too, right?
And what's amazing, the game was Saturday. It's Monday. They're still talking about television.
Yeah.
I mean, on the news, on like CNN, but they're still talking about it.
Well, I think they're trying to tie, and I want to hear your opinion on this, but I think they're trying to tie the booing of the national anthem to the brawl, which I don't think the players cared about. But I mean, they care, but I don't think that's why they got in the brawl. Yeah.
Yeah. No. You know what? It really is old school. I mean, this is hockey. They should make a league just out of these.
I know.
I mean, just forget about. I don't.
So if you think if you think comes from it though, I mean, the problem now is you're playing that hard in this tournament. Why don't we see that during the regular season?
Because you can't do it 80 times a year.
Yeah. And it's almost the rules the way they're set up now. Like you can see everybody, the coaches and everything, were being very careful what they said.
Yes.
Because the NHL doesn't really want that kind of premeditated, fighting.
Well, we do.
Yeah, I know. It is. That's the old school, right? That's the Islander, Rangers, Islanders.
And what's so great about it? So who fought Bennett? Which I always get confused.
Brady did.
But his brother plays with him, right? Played with him?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because he called him Benny. That's right. Yes.
And I don't know if it's fact or fiction, but I heard they were out having a beer after the game. Yeah. So it's hockey, man.
I know. Well, that's a great. I forgot about that because Brady, when they won the Stanley Cup last year, he was hanging out with the whole Florida team.
Yeah.
So that's why, because he was calling Bennett, he was calling him Benny like he knew him by nickname.
But you know what? And you and I have talked about it. Guys we fought when we were kids.
Oh yeah.
On the playground or on the ice rink or ball field. Some of them are still our best friends.
I know. Actually, probably even better friends because you've got together and done that. You respect each other. Yeah. So when I was an agent, Dallas Drake was a client of mine. He played in Phoenix and in St. Louis with Keith Tkachuk. Yes. They called him Walt because of Walt Tkachuk. And the rumor at the time was that Keith was a bad guy. So my duty as an agent was to go to Dallas, and they were like best friends. And I said, Dallas, you got to be careful. I've heard a lot of rumors. He got mad at me. He said, nope, he's my friend. He's fantastic. That's it. End of story. Don't want to talk about it anymore. So, okay. And now I see the way his boys are. And obviously that's an extension of the mother and father, right? So,
that's great stuff. I mean, again, just the fact that nationally and worldwide, they're still talking about what happened.
I know.
It's the best thing to happen to hockey. I mean, especially 1 week after kind of a dud Super Bowl.
Yeah. And then they had the NBA All-Star weekend was this weekend too, and it was terrible.
Was it? I didn't even know.
Yeah. Okay, here's our buddy. Hold on here. Mr. Milan Stavros. Yeah, well, it turned out that way. Again, I don't believe the players were doing it for that reason, although.
Now, let me ask you a question as an Ontario guy. Yeah. Do you think the booing was more intense because it was in Quebec than it would be in Ontario?
Oh, yeah. Totally. Yeah. The Quebec people, people think it's all because of the tariffs, which were part of it, but it's more the attitude that the U.S. is saying, okay, we'll let you be our 51st state. We'll let you. Right. Like when that kind of stuff comes out, we'll let you do this. You're like, you're not going to let us do anything. It's like
you and I both know it's never going to happen.
I know.
But there certainly needs to be more cooperation.
Yeah.
Certainly. I mean, I didn't realize how bad the tariffs were from Canada. I mean, like crazy how much they're banging the United States.
Oh yeah. And all the goods that they're bringing into the country that we could do it ourselves, like all the wood products and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It is funny. William Haynes, our buddy here in Chicago, there's a true patriot right there.
Yeah.
After the period was over, they're skating off, and Tkachuk's trying to get everybody going. It cross-checked Marchand, and that's like Marchand didn't even respond. And I'm thinking, Marchand, you're not going to respond to that?
Did he play?
I know. He was non-existent.
Another guy.
Okay, so today, Canada plays Sweden at 1 o'clock. Right.
Yeah.
And then U.S. plays Sweden tonight.
Right, that's it. Yeah.
Right. Canada plays Finland. So all those bottom 3 teams are all tied with 2 points.
Yeah. U.S. has 6.
Right. So if Canada wins in regulation, they're automatically in the finals. Right.
Want that so bad.
So they're playing Finland today. Now Finland's saying Finland's still in it too. Yeah.
They're a good team.
I know.
And you see Kako's playing well.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, playing much better. Playing more aggressive.
I'll leave it at that. I won't talk about Sweden and the Ranger on there. But
I know, yeah. Good point by Susan Brooks, as she usually has good points. Kreider in for is that already been decided, Susan? I think that's what should happen. Probably.
Did he get hurt in a fight or something else happened? We don't know.
They didn't say really what. I didn't read anywhere that they said what happened to Tkachuk, but they said it was an upper body injury. Yeah. Here's a really disappointing one, and I kind of understand it. Cale Makar, great player for Canada, probably arguably the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
They said he didn't play because he had an illness. Now I look at it both ways. He then said, "I want to do what's right for my team, being the Colorado Avalanche, rest of the year. So I have to think of that." I'm like,
I wouldn't have phrased it that way. I'm running 104 fever. I mean, I'm going to hurt the team. I can't help them. But I'm going to be a liability.
You're in a tournament like this where guys and you can't play because you're sick. I can't. If you broke your ankle, you can't play. But you can't play because you're sick.
Did he? Maybe the Tkachuk virus got to him?
He could have had the Tkachuk virus. Yeah, Tkachuk flu hit him. Yeah. I'm sorry, Susan. I apologize. I set the question up improperly. Yes. He's in for Tkachuk. That's been determined already. I'm sure she's saying, right? Okay, which is good. It's got to be hard on a guy like Kreider, right?
Yeah.
Because that's right. He's playing against his buddy Mika. I wonder if they'll hug or anything like that before the game. Susan doesn't like when I say that.
I know.
Okay. My son-in-law is from Winnipeg. He watched the game and he was upset about the booing. Well, I'm sure there's a lot of Canadians probably were upset. Yeah. Because it's just not.
I think somebody presented the thought that it's more Trump against Trudeau, like trying to really embarrass him more than anything else.
Right.
He's calling him Governor Trudeau.
I know. Highlight. Donald Trump pacing the cars there at Daytona.
He's out of his mind. He's out of his freaking mind. It's hysterical.
Oh God! I mean, like the people that love him when he does that are going to love him even more, right? It's okay. It's almost like do whatever you want, Donald. I mean, we don't care. Yeah. He does scare me a little bit, but he was supposedly there's a quote saying that he's somewhere along the line said, if it's the right thing if it's saving the country, it's not illegal. That quote was attributed to him. I don't know if it's true. If he did say that, I mean. That's part of the way he talks, but you can't really act like that, right? I mean, you got to follow the law.
No, but the thing is, we do illegal stuff all the time. I mean,
oh God, yeah.
We assassinated foreign leaders. They did it to President Guatemala. That's a long history of the CIA has an assassin program.
Oh, I know.
But you don't want to just come around. But it's Donald Trump. People have to come to the understanding. He's who he is. He's not going to all of a sudden turn into Barack Obama. We'll say he's a great orator. He really knows how to control a crowd. That's not Trump.
I know.
Trump's going to say, that dress doesn't work for you. You know what I mean? He's just going to come out. He has no back.
Yeah, I know. It's like they're inviting Phil Esposito. So they're having a night for Sam Rosen. It's sometime in March. So they're bringing in like John Davidson, guys who worked with him. Phil Esposito's coming in. Awesome. So they asked me about Phil. And I said, okay, well, just be prepared. Because there is absolutely no filter.
Right.
So they were, but even then, I don't think they realized the level that he could go to potentially. So.
He's the best. He really is.
Yeah, he's all heart. He's just like he's like Trump. He just follows his heart. He just
remember the 72 when they got booed.
Yeah.
And then what did Phil do?
Right? Yeah. Okay, so you had mentioned it to me the other day. Rachel Maddow, is that her name? The one for she's CNN. Is it she CNN or MSNBC?
No, MSNBC.
MSNBC.
Yeah.
So she made the comment that
12-minute comment.
Yeah, that Musk had received a $400 million deal to use his Tesla vehicle as a electric tank,
Cybertruck or some kind of whatever it was.
So she made it seem like, okay, first of all, that it was Trump that made that happen, and that $400 million was somehow some huge amount of money, right? And come to find out later, it was Biden when he was in office, and that like $400 million to Musk is like, and then it's more like he was doing them a favor because nobody else was stepping forward.
Well, not only that, Trump put an end to that order. He canceled it.
Oh, okay.
Because he doesn't believe in EV. Yeah. Well, think about it. You're gonna use EV in military.
I know.
You're gonna need a long extension cord.
Well, when she came back to supposedly apologize, it was more like it really wasn't even an apology. What do those kind of people that are making those statements? What do they think they're gaining from that? Like, is they like somehow they're going to impeach Trump or something?
Well, so they know their market. They know their market hates Trump.
Right. Yeah.
So every day it's just going to be 20, and I understand that. I think I've come to realize, you've come to realize, and most people, that it is no longer journalism. It's a business.
Yeah.
So MSNBC has a market, CNN has a market, Fox has a market.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
And they play to those markets. But
and Fox is just the same. I mean, they do the same thing on the other side. Yeah.
But the difficulty I have in it all is you're paying this woman $25 million a year.
Right.
Do you have a research staff?
I know.
Like, do you vet your statements before you go on for 12 minutes and your hair's on fire and you're making this big scene? And
I know.
No, that was Biden, and Trump canceled that order.
I know. Yeah. All right, so Susan is on the mark again. She's unbelievable. This woman is like she should be like what's the opposite? What's the female version of Captain America? So like Mrs. America?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. Yeah. Oh, that's who Susan is from now on. Wonder Woman. So March 22nd versus Vancouver Heels back in town.
Oh yeah, Heels return.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kakos too.
So from now on, okay, we're making a executive order, just like Trump says, executive decision here. That Susan will now be known as Wonder Woman.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that.
Gulf of America.
Yes.
Susan. Yeah. There's the phone. Susan.
And then somebody's saying that they're going to make the Long Island Sound the Gulf of Connecticut. That's what they're saying here. And
they should.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. There's our magical Deb Minor Kagan Anderson. It took her like about 2 years to get her name properly pronounced. But that's not a statement on her name. It's more a statement on our intelligence level. LG Runrunner, happy Felon Day. Do you know who's this?
I don't know. But Felon Day.
Okay, so LG Runrunner.
Everybody's got to have a day, man. I mean,
yeah, it's true. There is a day for everything.
Yeah.
Like National Hot Dog Day. Might as well have like National Cigarette Smoking Day, for God's sake.
They probably do.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Let me see our buddy William Haynes here, the trained engineer. I remember Tony Macedo got a lot of criticism from Canadians for applying for team. Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess how it works, if you're able to have dual citizenship, if you have not played so if you haven't played for Canada, let's say, you have your choice. You can play for Canada or US if you haven't ever played in the past, I think, right?
Yeah, well, Harley, the defenseman that replaced
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he has dual citizenship, and he chose to play for Canada. He could have played for US.
Was he born in Syracuse or something like that? Raised
Syracuse, and I don't know. I guess his mom or dad is Canadian. I forget exactly.
Let me see here. Ira Matthew here. He's got some perverted. Laidlaw and Mark have a market of horny men who get it. Now I got to give him credit. That's pretty creative, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what? Going back to the hockey, wouldn't it be great to have Russia in this tournament right now?
I know.
You want to bring the level of.
I know.
I don't want to use the word hate, but I mean that's
okay. So I mean, obviously, with the war in Ukraine, they're saying we just don't want to touch.
What do the athletes have to do with it? I don't see Ovechkin over there in a tank.
Yeah, I know.
You know what?
So I guess the league said, okay, let's do a 4 nations. So then that's an easy out. So
It's
we don't have.
It's easy to put the tournament together.
Yeah.
So the 6th team could have been, I don't know, Germany. Somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, what is where Latvia's had some good teams too, right?
Oh, a lot of good teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could come up with 6 teams to.
I mean, where did Hasek? Where was he from? He was Czech, right?
Yeah, I believe he was. Yeah.
But who was the goaltender from Latvia that was really good? I can't remember. But anyhow, Susan.
Yeah, Susan. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman will know.
Wonder Woman.
W squared. W squared. How was your weekend, just in general, as a human being?
Arturas Urbe.
Arturas Urbe, little guy, played for San Jose.
Yeah.
Wore the white helmet too, didn't you? Wear like
yeah. That was awful. With a cage, looked like a youth player.
Hold on. Danny Erickson's here. Hold on, drop everything. It was Tom Laidlaw did him. Attendance figures weren't available, but it was microscopic in nature. Okay, clearly digging at me. Okay, we'll take that. But I'll tell you, both he and Ira very creative today.
Yeah.
No, you almost think like maybe somebody wrote it for them. I don't believe that they wrote that themselves.
Well, they may have writers. I mean, all those guys, like all the comedians, they have writers.
Good point by you. So Danny has got to the level now where he has a writer.
He might have his own team.
That's right, a team of people. Yeah. Well, that's the kind of thing. Like so, David Letterman. Let's say I really liked him, but he didn't write his own stuff. He read it.
What's interesting? A lot of those like big name comedians started off as writers. Like Steve Martin was a writer for I forget who. That's how they kind of get into business. Yeah.
You know what I've gotten into? Like I like to do my studying. So one of the things I've gotten into is now is barn dominiums. Have you ever seen a barn dominium?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So the concept is it's basically like you're building like a big warehouse almost. It's able of a barn, and then you put whatever kind of house you want inside it.
Well, they're doing Connex boxes too, because you can design your own Connex layout. Connex box, like shipping container.
Hold on. See, who else would call it a Connex box? Like, where did you get that?
It's what they call them.
So where's Connex? So what's that mean? Like
a container.
Yeah, I know what they are, but I mean, why Connex? Why is it called Connex?
That's what they're called. I don't know.
Because unbelievable. But no, hold on. You see, you're taking it to seem like, well, that's what they're called. Well, no, the rest of the world doesn't know they're called Connex.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah.
You're the only person, maybe like.
Well, anybody. I'll put it this way: anybody who's done any tactical training, because they use Connex boxes. You can set up a little thing, and we've done it before. But you can design your own home now.
No, that's pretty cool.
It's like Lego blocks. You just put them together. Yeah.
Connex. Connex. Oh, so that's the great. So we win the lottery tonight.
Yeah.
Buy a piece of land up north, maybe like an hour away. Maybe a couple hundred acres. Build a
lottery is up to 6 dozen eggs.
6 dozen eggs.
Powerball. Yeah.
But I ordered Instacart the other day. Got my Costco order. I got 2 dozen eggs for $10. It's the same price it's always been. I don't know what everybody's.
You may want to check those eggs.
Oh, hold on. Here's the second person who I should have known. William Haynes, Connex. We called him that on the railroad.
Yeah.
Should have known. Let me see here. What? Okay, Con Ed Save-A-Watt. Danny Erickson. Is that connected to the Connex?
Yeah, that's a little cryptic.
Hold on. Yeah, I know. I do. See, we gave him compliment on the first one, so probably now he got a little more confident. And he didn't have the writers left the room, so he did it on his own.
They're gone.
Yeah. Overseas shipping, huh? Okay, so there's third persons. I guess I'm the only person that didn't know it was called Connex.
Yeah, that's probably more useless information I have.
Intermodal containers. Oh, listen to William now. Oh, intermodal containers, man. That gets me turned on. Seriously, when he talks like that.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Here's our crack team. See, we have our own staff.
Yeah, we have a team.
Wonder Woman. Connex's Container Express.
There you go. Yeah.
Nice. So we're going to have a couple hundred acres at the ranch. We're going to build so the plan is, okay, so we have the barn dominium. Now we're going to have a huge garage that's going to house, so it's going to be a gym, like the old style gym with the big high roof, U.S. flag up there, big screen TV, speakers blaring, all the pumped up music and everything like that. And then we'll also have a place that the theory is we're going to get dogs who are unfortunately near the end of their lives. Mm-hmm. So instead of dying alone in a kennel, we'll bring them there and they can we'll have a big, like about a 10-acre fenced in area with a pond and everything and run around.
Yeah.
And then the dogs will be there. So that's our, oh man. Imagine that, working out, having the music pumping, like on a nice day, open up the big garage doors like you're working out outside.
Beautiful view. Yeah.
Oh man. They'd be nice enough, Jim. You don't want it like all ratty, but you don't want it all pretty and everything too. It's got to be
no. Pretty's not good. You want just clean.
Yeah, clean. Absolutely. Have the big screen TV. Have like videos of you playing the piano and stuff.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do some boogie woogie.
Okay, what do we got here? Ira Matthew. Ira's back in the game here. Hey, Tom, is it true that you banned Tracy? I was going to ask about Tracy.
Yeah, what happened to her, man?
Yeah, seriously. You know, okay, so let's analyze this. So sometimes I get the opinion that Tracy is like she's a very intelligent woman, and that our content is not like it's below her. It's beneath her.
Can't blame her there.
You think that's what it is?
She's very accurate on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or do we think that? I guess the other option is, I'm not saying this is the case, that we're like, now we talk about quantum computing and all this kind of stuff, and she's thinking,
we talk about it.
Yeah, good point. But then again, we're talking about Connex, like we do talk, like a lot of subjects, particularly you, that bring up like the funeral home, for example. Like, who would have known what a funeral home is, right?
Yeah, only someone packed full of useful or useless information.
Hold on, we've got a former player chiming in here, former Ranger too, Jeff Brubaker.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
Tough dude. He was a tough man. He battled hard. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he could go.
Yeah, he did. Dude. Played in Hartford, Rangers.
Yeah,
probably a couple other places.
I remember more in Hartford. I remember him in New York. I don't know. I'm sure Jeff played somewhere else, but
yes, he did. Yeah. We've had a few meetings in the past. There, like some business meetings and stuff. We never got anything put together, but
he's American too, I think, right? He's Indian.
I think he is. Yes. Yeah.
Michigan, Jeff, I think.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, there's right. I remember him in the Leaf jersey too.
Oh yeah.
We got to get him on the show. Big Jeff Brubaker. When I was in college, Don Waddell and I've told the story. We got the idea we're going to leave college, our draft year, and I've been drafted by the Peterborough Petes. So we're going to go into Peterborough, and actually they brought us into Peterborough, and Jeff was playing with the Peterborough Petes at that time too. So yeah. They were really going for it that year. They felt like they had a really good team, so they were. Yeah,
and they had a lot of good players run through there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a factory there back then.
Oshawa 67s, Peterborough Petes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Peterborough, like Roger Nielsen coached there and everything.
Yeah.
He was it wasn't his fault. Like, he was an intimidating man. Like, whenever you're a kid and he was coaching Peterborough, like, I remember going there like, oh my God, this is Roger Nielsen. Like, he was the god of coaching. Yeah.
I went to he put on a coaching clinic a long time ago. It was in Ottawa, and it was Harry Neal. Remember Harry?
Yeah.
Mike Keenan was there. Dan Maloney. I mean, they had an all-star. Scotty Bowman. They had an all-star lineup. It was a great weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, Roger put. Now he's the one. I forget who the D-man was on the Petes, but
Stackhouse.
Ron Stackhouse. Yeah.
Yes.
They put him out there, pulled the goaltender on a shootout, right?
Yeah. And that was the first time anybody ever did something like that. Yeah.
They had to change a rule. Put a new rule in or whatever. Yeah.
You know who did that later on? Al Arbour with the Islanders did that. They pulled the goalie, put Bob Bourne in.
Is that right?
Against us a couple of times. Yeah.
I remember thinking 5-on-5 or because it was
late in the game. We were down a goal, so they pulled the goalie, or they were down a goal. They pulled the goalie. Yeah. It was rare that we were ahead of them, but he's going to give Bruce going to give us a call. William Haynes remembers him. Fought every. Yes, that was who.
Yeah, he was tough man.
Yep. He's one of those guys, pure heavyweight, but he would just didn't matter if he won or lost. He'd get back in the ring again. He'd throw him. I'll tell you, the Kachuk boys are just unbelievable, though.
I love it.
Even after the game, they got a special handshake. Have you seen the handshake they had after the game?
Yeah.
They shake hands and then just kind of pat each other back. They don't get too carried away. So that's it.
Miller did okay. He kind of.
Yeah. That was a big boy, though. You got to give him credit. Did you see in the face-off when Brady was going? He said to Brady, he says, "Am I next?" Like, like he wanted to go with the guy.
Right.
He was okay. Is this?
Well, he said, "I'm going with whoever drops their gloves first."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ferrara was funny. I guess when Matthew was fighting in the first fight, he said this was pre-planned during that fight because Brady Kachuk had gone to what's his name?
Hagel or something.
No, Bennett.
Oh, Bennett, rather.
Yeah, he'd gone to Bennett and said, "Okay, you're next, Benny. We're going."
Yeah. Gotta love it, man. I mean,
oh, even there's
know
another
some people
video I
have
saw today too, where Brady was talking to the referee. It seemed like it was just after he got out of the box, and the referee skating by. He says to the referee, he goes, "That was cool, wasn't it?" And the referee goes, "Holy fuck, like holy F, that was unbelievable." Because you know what it is too, like it was so unexpected, right? Like usually we don't see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you the truth. So I had the sound off. I don't know what I was doing, but I looked up and I saw it.
Yeah,
I'm like, this has got to be like AI generated.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like some pregame kind of meme.
Yeah.
No, this is really
oh, that was
great.
The crowd was going nuts too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people that don't even know anything or have a passing interest in hockey at all, when they see that, man, like, they turn the corner, they stop.
Yeah, it's a national thing too. It's U.S. against Canada, and these guys are fighting to win the game and everything. I'll tell you, I like Charlie McAvoy hit a couple of big hits on McDavid too, man. He never gets hit like that. That was
McAvoy played a really strong game, he's been having a little bit of a tough time this year.
Yep. Yeah. You know what? I think it shows that they just don't have a whole lot in Boston right now.
Yeah.
But he really, you're right. He played really well. I liked his game a lot.
Yeah. Disappointed, and well, I can't say disappointed, but there's a couple guys, I won't mention names, but who kind of ballerinaed out there.
Yeah.
Too much for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yep. Greatest thing of ours in your conference was as when it is least to feel that. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, let me tell you, that was like, you want to talk about every square inch of ice was a bloodbath fight, like battle. We had the red line then, so the neutral zone was clogged up, and guys just hooking and holding and elbowing. I mean, it was beautiful. It was a really good series.
Yeah, it was. Really well, I gotta go to Susan. I go up to Ira here. Love that they kept saying it happened organically. Oh, Wonder Woman. That's funny because I was thinking the same thing. It was Brady kept saying organically.
Yeah.
And he said it on the ice, and then he said it in the interview after. And I'm thinking, does he know what?
Probably not.
And I only say that because at that time when I was playing, I would not know what organically means. Just,
I would have thought it was something.
Yeah, like a sexual
penthouse letters or whatever.
Was there a teammate or opponent you felt was clinically insane and actually avoided?
Steve DeBrano.
Yeah, I didn't play with him, but yeah. Teammate or opponent you thought was insane. I don't think there's anybody. Yeah, DeBrano was a guy, but again, I missed him.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I don't think there's anybody you thought was insane, but Ben Wilson was the closest to insane.
Yeah,
I think, because he just did things. You're like, what are you doing? Like, it just makes no sense.
Did you catch any of his podcasts with Chris Nyland?
I saw a bit of it. Yes,
it's pretty good. Yeah.
He actually seemed like a very intelligent guy.
He does. Yeah, I was surprised by it. Yeah, and he doesn't look anything like he did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No kidding. Yeah. He hasn't pushed too many plates away from the table.
Yeah. Siggy was a little bit. He had that little twitch going.
Oh yeah, and he was tough too. Yeah.
Tough.
Oh yeah.
He weighed like $175.
Yeah, probably. Yep. Yeah. Great team player, man. He was cool. We had him on for a podcast, and I said that to him. It's funny, like he didn't recognize what a great team player was when I told him. He's going, "Well, thanks, Tommy. I didn't realize that's the way people look at you." I think a lot of guys are like that. Like when you play, you don't realize how, because we're not a bunch of warm and cuddly guys where we go up and go, "Well, Mark, I really admire your intelligence and everything."
I really appreciate what a Connex box is.
We should. Like if you were to say that in the locker room, I wouldn't even say anything about it then. Now I would go up to you and go, "Wow,
that's pretty cool."
Let me see here. What do we got here from Wonder Woman? I have to admit, watching these games has given me an appreciation of how well Matthews plays. Yeah.
Mm.
You know what? And that's a great point. So I would have, I looked at his points. I think he's only got like one goal or one assist in the tournament. It's only 2 games. Yeah. But he seems to be doing a lot of other stuff that I didn't think he was really capable of doing. So,
Yeah, I was talking to my son, Sean, this morning about, there's a big article, I don't know if you saw this in the Post by Larry Brooks about Laffy.
Yeah, trading him, right?
What's going on? And maybe he's talking about Zegras for Laffy. I don't know about that trade so much, but the thing about Laffy is he's looked pretty bad on the back check a couple times recently. That's just effort. That's just like
Well, and that's the thing. I'm okay. I'm sure you are too. Most hockey people are like this. If the guy is giving effort, but for some reason slips, falls, whatever happens, doesn't work. But his mistakes have been more from just not caring. Like it just seems like
yeah.
At least that's the vision he gives of it. Yeah.
I don't know who said it, but if you have two, like as a coach, if a guy has 2 bad games in a row, it's probably something I'm not doing right as a coach. If he has 3 in a row, it's him.
Yeah. Yeah, and the time. Unfortunately, the timing for him is bad because he just signed the contract. It seemed like ever since he signed the contract,
shut it down. That's what it looks like. I'm sure that's not the case, but that.
Yeah, and it could be one of those cases where he's a young guy still, relatively young. Yeah, he may have fallen into this kind of lull that I'm an NHL guy. I'm a talented guy, and not realizing if I want to get the best out of my career, like I need to watch Brady Tkachuk, I need to watch Matthew Tkachuk, right?
And maybe New York's gobbling him up a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but the whole I don't agree with the Trevor Zegras thing, though.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah.
No. That's the last thing they need right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like a highly skilled guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to say this now, but I think I said it before. I mean, I'd sell Madison Square Garden to get Brady Tkachuk, right? I mean, yeah.
Exactly where my thoughts are going.
Yeah. It's just he's got that personality. It seems like the whole room, like he pulls the whole room in together.
Yeah, the last thing they need is a perimeter player right now.
Yeah. Actually, I saw a video on him. I'm sure they portrayed it, but it was really negative towards Zegras, where talking about his teammates didn't like him. He's kind of a pretty boy and all that.
Yeah.
So,
but he's a Connecticut kid, so Larry made a point that he'd be playing in his backyard. And but Larry also mentioned there's a couple D-men that would have to be thrown in by Anaheim. I forget who he was talking about.
So it'd be Lafreniere for Zegras. So Lafreniere and something else for Zegras.
And then one of the defensemen, I forget who Larry mentioned, because I don't see a lot of that West Coast stuff.
I think we both have a ton of respect for Larry and he knows what's going on.
Oh yeah.
So obviously that's coming from someplace. That's
he's hearing it somewhere. I think maybe the approach should be somebody's got. I don't know if you can talk to him and say, "Hey, what's going on?" I mean, like just sit him down with the cartoon and say, "You're not."
Isn't that true? That's a great point. Like, how much does that happen now in the game?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Or even after the game, where you just have a one-on-one meeting and say, "Hey, look, it's right here on the iPad. Like, what's your effort here? What's going on?"
Yeah, because as you know, I mean, now they've got skating coaches, shooting coaches, for everything.
Coach for everything now.
Right.
Yeah.
Do they have a psychological coach that's?
Do you think there's too much overcoaching now?
Oh, totally.
Yeah, me too.
100%. I mean, it makes them great individual players skill-wise, but that whole, and again, I keep harping on it, so easy to do it now, but the whole Tkachuk mentality, like if you watch the power play in Florida and they talk about it, it's throw the puck to the front of the net and go beat the crap out of everybody. That's what it is. And it's like, how are you gonna, and that's the thing, how are you going to stop that? Like you say, okay, we're going to do a pregame scouting of the Florida power play. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to throw, okay, coach, so how do we stop that?
Take the puck off the ice.
Yeah.
I mean, the game, and we've said it numerous times, the game's changed, but it just seems to me that at the end of the day, the teams that consistently win, whether it's today's game or 1978, you got to have some guys out there that are just going to lay it on the line and perform.
And that's the thing. You can look at all the skilled teams, but the teams that win the cups, whether it's Washington, Florida, Tampa, Vegas, whoever it is, it's that big, heavy game still. Like, and it's the mindset of having the big, heavy game, right? Yeah.
So my friend Scott Frank, I grew up with him. He kind of got me into boxing. He ended up fighting Larry Holmes. He was a heavyweight, but he got called over to Europe. There was an amateur tournament going on over there, and the American got hurt, and they flew him in, and he was 16 years old, I think. Yeah, 16, and he had to fight a guy that had won a silver medal in the Olympics, right? And the people were going like, "Well, who's this kid? He's going to get killed." Anyhow, long story short, because my friend Joe trained him, Joe's wrapping his hands, and Scott's just going, "You're not going to stop me. The rep's not going to stop me. I'm going to kill this guy."
Oh,
yeah. But that's what Scott. That was his mentality, and you know what he did. Because actually, Joe told me. Now, Joe had a 28 pro fight career himself, numerous Golden Gloves, and had trained a lot of guys. He said that was probably the best fight, pro or amateur. He said it was like corner to corner. Scott just won it by sheer determination. He was a 16-year-old kid going up against a 30-year-old guy.
Yeah.
But
and so much that I know you believe this, but is that when you tell yourself that, like, so conversely, you could say, geez, I don't know if I can win. Well, now
Oh,
you're internally you're thinking, I don't know if I can win. But if you're saying to yourself, I'm winning, and that's it. Yeah.
the hardest guy to please in the room is yourself. Not please,
Yeah.
convince is yourself.
Yeah. Totally. Let me see. Yeah. Susan Brooks. Okay. Wonder Woman here just needs to clarify something. Larry didn't say he would do it. Just saying he would.
No, I know. Yeah, no, it was a great article. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I think Larry said it too. Like, do you bring a guy in who's highly skilled but gets injured a lot? He was making point and counterpoint. The whole Laffy situation to me, I think, is a coaching situation where somebody's got to get up his butt and just say, hey, look, it's clear. You're not working, kid. You want to get on that first power play.
So do you think with coaches, with most coaches in the NHL now, they look and say, okay, I'm making good money. I'm making $2-3 million a year. But the players, like in Lafreniere's case, is making $8 million a year. I know what I'd like to say to him, but I don't want to say it to him and screw up what I've got going here. You think that happens?
100%. And I think so. I watched I'll try to find it. I'll send it to you. So Ken Hitchcock did like a 45-minute presentation. I don't know who his audience was. Might have been USA Hockey. I'm not sure. Where he said coaching today's generation, totally different.
Sure.
So let's say you're playing D, instead of somebody coming down and saying, hey man, you got to keep that guy on your outside hip. What are you doing? Yelling at you. When you make a big play, come up and say, Tommy, that was awesome. I'm going to need you to do that again next period.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, it's a different approach.
Yeah.
I get it. I think it makes more sense. So, because we all know when we make a mistake.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to, like, for me, when I was playing, like the play that already happened really didn't matter. Yeah, I was more worried about the plays that are coming up.
Yeah.
And again, you want the coach to be able to come to you and say, Tommy, you know what you did wrong there, right? And say, yeah, I screwed that up. And that should be it for me, especially as a veteran player. Like, just the coach just needs to say to you, you do understand what you did wrong. Now, if you say to him, like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything wrong. Well, now it's a problem. But if you say to him, yes, I screwed up, that was totally me. Now you can move on. And you can further discussion after the game or next day at practice if you want. But yeah.
So the thing is, how do you coach effort? I guess that's the question. How do you what I mean? You can't coach. So I every professional fighter that I worked with, I would tell them, listen, you guys are pros. You're going in with a guy with the same skills, basically the same skill set you do.
Yeah.
So what it comes down to are two things: conditioning and determination.
Right.
And it's the same thing. I mean, he's an NHL player. All the guys are NHL players. You guys are the best players in the world. Yeah. Now it comes to how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Where's the effort? And that's a Kachuk. I mean,
yeah, I don't know how. That's a great question too. How much can you teach that mentality? I think you can somewhat, but like a guy is who he is, really. Exactly. By the time he gets to the NHL, you don't ever want to say you can't, but
it's hard to change.
Yeah,
but I think that also becomes part of the culture.
Yeah, we got Donald Trump. He's
one of those.
It's not Donald Trump.
Car warranty. You ever notice you don't get those anymore? The car warranty.
That's right too. What's happened with that?
I don't know. The car's running fine, I guess.
That's a great point. I haven't got any solar panel calls either.
I never got one. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was my first solar panel.
If you get to the trade deadline with a little chance to make an impact in the postseason, the Rangers have to be themselves. Okay. I think this is a great question. For me, if I was, and now I'm not making a determination how I would look on the Rangers. I think the Rangers are in that category of teams where I'm saying, I don't care whether come trade deadline, whether this team looks like they're going to make the playoffs or not. I care about the long-term future. Do I think I have the team here to win long-term? Now, and again, that's up to them to decide that. And again, I wouldn't hinge that on making the playoffs or not. But
yeah, and I think you just finish out with what we have, because you got Perreault coming, Ottman, Secor. There's a lot of kids that could backfill.
Yeah,
I don't think bringing in anybody's going to bring it to the cup this year.
Yeah, like they did a couple of years ago. They brought in Patrick Kane, right? Again, that was a hard one because he was hurt. But
traditionally, it just never has worked out. Some teams it does, and also I think, if I could just say this, sometimes it's not a big name player.
Yeah,
but maybe you need that guy that's going to win 60% of the draws.
Yeah.
That's the guy. That's the piece you're missing.
Oh, very true. Well, I mean, there's a few things. I mean, look at Colorado when they brought in Ray Bork, but again, they didn't win right away. They won the next year when he was there, right? So yeah.
Good point.
So that level of player can be great for you, but he also really changes the dynamic on the ice and off the ice too, right? Because now he's a big presence in the locker room, right? That's Ray Bork. So
I mean, we're all human. So, like in your case, when you got to practice with Gretzky, you probably were like, "Wow, this is."
Yeah. At first, yeah, you try not to do it, but you can't help it. It's Wayne Gretzky. Then you settle in to realize he's Wayne. I mean, yeah, he's a great player, but like I'll never forget. One of the first games we're in our zone, and he was on the boards, so I just rifled it up the boards. Wayne will get it. Defense comes barreling down, runs over Wayne, and it was good. I realized, hey, it's Wayne, but he can't do everything. That's not his spot there on the board.
Right.
Yeah.
But so I mean, it's so much about the room, right, Tom?
Oh God, yeah.
So much about the room.
I think it kind of gets overlooked a lot how important the room is.
Yeah.
And again, I keep doing it, but the Tkachuk brothers, you watch them, their interaction with their teammates. How again, I know it seems like a small thing. So then Brady Tkachuk's on the bench. He sees Charlie McAvoy hit McDavid twice with 2 big hits. And he's standing up on the bench so everybody on the bench could hear it. He says, I think he's Charles, he called him. Charles, I'm following your leadership. I'm doing what you're doing. Like, he's so smart because now he's not acting like he's allowing McAvoy to appear to be the leader, and he's taking that role on. I mean, that's just to me, that's brilliant leadership right there. That's really,
And that's you're born that way. You can't say to somebody, okay, here's how I want you to act on the bench. It just doesn't work. It'll come out phony if you do it. Right. This is fun though. I got to tell you, I wasn't really I was like, man, Four Nation, but man, this has been some really
great point for you. I think we mentioned it. Like, I was like, who cares? Like, is anybody going to care about this? Yeah.
I was like, I'm not even going to watch it, and then I was like, wow,
I know. Yeah.
These guys are playing for keeps.
There's our boy William. Have a great holiday, buddy. Yep, perfect. Happy holiday to you. President
William.
Danny Erickson. If you move Lafayette's another top player. Yeah. But you know what though? I think they can't get hung up on that. If whether he's the first overall pick in the draft or not, if it's not working, or if you can improve your team by moving him.
Yeah.
That's why I wonder. I know like the teams in the past, I think it started with Detroit. Well, probably other teams before that, but they came up with the slogan, they got to win through the draft. But that's a crapshoot. That's a long-term crapshoot, I think.
So there was a stat out. I forget what it was, but about first rounders, how many play more than 10 games in the NHL?
Oh, yeah. The percentages are
pretty low.
Oh, yeah. Like when I see these teams trade for 4th and 5th round draft picks, if you look at the numbers, the percentages of those players ever meaning anything or nothing. Yeah. I don't.
Who's the biggest flop in your mind as the first one? Was it Daigle?
Yeah. Almost unfair to him too, because Ottawa was a mess.
He got to date Pam Anderson though, so it worked out for him.
Oh, did he date Pam Anderson? Yeah. Oh, I did. Didn't they put him in a dress for some promotional thing too? Wasn't there that big thing?
I don't remember, but yeah.
Because I had Brian Berard was first overall picked Ottawa. What 2 years before that, or was it after? I can't remember. And we made the decision to have him not go back there because it was just such a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And he was willing to go back and play junior for another 2 years to ultimately be able to get out of re-enter the draft and everything. So,
right.
Yeah. I'll never forget. We're at the World Junior Tournament. It was up in, I think it was in Boston someplace. And some guy was brought in as the interim GM. And I'd gone to them very quietly and said, listen, Brian is not going to play for you guys. So it was for Ottawa.
Oh, Ottawa. Yeah.
Pierre Gauthier, I think, was the smaller guy.
Yeah.
And, all the cameras there. I'm sitting up there with him in the stands. Mm-hmm. And he knew the cameras were on us. And he starts like giving me the finger in my face, like, because he knew he's trying to put on his show, like saying, we're never going to trade him. I said, you put that finger up your freaking ass right now.
Yeah. Great finger lock. Just grab it.
Yeah. It's just because in the NHL world, all these guys that come out and they make these statements, they know they know they have to do it. They're going to lose the player altogether. So, yeah. Let me see here. Goring pushed the Isles over the edge. I always wondered if he was. He did. And not that he was that like, and that's a great way to put him. He put them over the edge. He was that
Yeah.
extra thing, the penalty killer, the energy kind of guy. Yeah. Yeah. He was.
Well, I think it might have been before you. You didn't play with Bobby Sheehan at all, did you?
No, heard a lot about the She Cat, but
Yeah, but, and that was the thing. They brought him up to play
Yeah.
Philly because Linsman.
Yeah.
Because of Kenny Linsman, and he shut him down. He played real well against him.
yeah. Yeah.
He's
I've
a wild guy.
heard a lot of good things about Bobby
Yeah, me
Sheehan.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
he liked to live.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always like Contos, Chris Contos. So I played with him with the Rangers and the Kings. He was, I mean, he was a fantastic skill player.
Mhm.
He just wasn't a guy that really, I don't know how I say this. He wasn't like this overly like competitive guy. I just never got the sense it meant that much to him. Great player, like great team guy and all like that, but I just never really felt like
Way to make a living.
yeah. And I don't mean that as a criticism. Yeah.
I won't name him, but there's somebody that played here in New Jersey, finished in Anaheim. You could do the math. Like, same thing. Once the season ended, he was snowboarding. That
Oh,
was his passion. Yeah. And that's okay. I mean,
yeah. Exactly. That is the thing about, I mean, everybody's involved in it. Fans, coaches,
Mhm.
players, when you're playing, it should be, some guys just don't have that mentality that it's that much. It means that much to them. It doesn't mean they're bad people. It just, yeah.
Some guys get knocked out of playoffs. You can't talk to them for 2 weeks or inconsolable.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
And then
totally.
there's other guys like him. Next morning, he was watching snowboarding tape.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some guys couldn't wait to get out of town. And that became a part of it too, where if your team was kind of on the bubble of making the playoffs or even like being able to win the first round, it would get out that people were starting to make travel plans.
Yeah.
And that was all, man, that's
not cool.
Yeah. Like, and the wives, I think in fairness to the wives, they didn't quite understand the dynamic in the room.
Mhm.
So they would say to another wife, oh, we've got a trip plan just in case we lose.
Right.
So then the wife would go home and tell the husband come to the locker room the next day, because that was, you start doing that could start going on in the locker room. That could ruin
Good way
it.
to have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's funny you bring that up because that was, it seemed kind of weird. I think it was more like sometimes too, where it's maybe a player that got traded later in the year. So they really weren't like, that wasn't their home there. So they were looking to get back to where they're from. Sure. Yeah.
Well, there, and I don't think it's so true, but there was a knock on Euros that it just.
Yeah. And again, you know what? That's a good point. Because again, I found out later on that they weren't bad guys. They just didn't understand that part of it. But I think as time went on, that culture part of it
changed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were some guys like Tick that just wanted to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman here. I watched Bobby Sheehan with the New York Rangers MSG. John Sterling was the announcer.
Yeah. She-Cat could fly, man. He was a little guy. Like, he could motor. Yeah.
Oh, actually, you know what? If we got a fun trip going on. I'm going to Ottawa.
Okay.
The Rangers do a lot of good stuff now. They bring in, so they try to get alumni from that area and then bring in some other alumni. So myself, Adam Graves, Jay Wells, Darren Langdon, and Steve Vickers are going to be in Ottawa. So they go in on the 7th of March. They play at like 12:30 on the 8th. In the morning of the 8th, myself and Adam Graves are going curling.
Did you ever do it?
Never done it before. They called me up and I said, I can't believe I've never done that. I'm a
Can
Canadian.
I tell you, we did it when we went out to Wisconsin with the Warrior team.
Oh, okay.
It is really hard.
Yeah, I
It's
bet.
not easy. It's really difficult. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was fun, though.
The funny thing up in Canada, like Canada's obviously curling is a big thing. The women's curling team could be like Playboy models. Like for some reason, every woman that played curling up in Canada was like the hottest babe in the planet.
That's why we want you guys to become the 51st state.
Is that there you go? That's what Trump was thinking.
Yeah.
Because we've got all these other hot women all over the place. And I know we said this before, but you look at the pictures of the women, they're all like smoke shows. It's like,
yeah. Then you look at the other side. God bless them all, but not quite the same.
The worst is the woman that the Department of Health and Human, what is it? Like the
HHS? No, that's Kenny, but Christy Nome.
Is that the old one that's taking that JFK or RFK is taking her job?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was awful.
Quite a contrast.
Oh God. Just you feel bad. It's like,
well, somebody had put up a meme of like in Europe, all the health ministers and all.
Yeah.
They're like they got one foot in the grave, the other one on a banana peel.
I know, yeah.
They're all completely morbidly obese and
Uh, what we got here? Dunmer. Okay. So great point by Roy. I'm glad you brought this up. So it sounds kind of barbaric here in the hockey world, but it didn't, just because a guy liked to party back then, especially, didn't mean he didn't want to win.
Right.
And I know it's kind of hard to, especially now because the players are so disciplined with their diets and all that kind of stuff. But
it was the 70s.
yeah. So it
Studio
was,
54.
yeah. So guys could still be fantastic players and great wanting to win, but it was time to drink beer.
Shame too, because he really was a special talent.
Who was?
Murdoch.
Oh, Murdoch. Oh, yeah.
He was a natural. I mean, I think he had 30 goals his rookie year.
Yeah.
He had 5 goals against Atlanta one night.
Hold on. Oh, I could figure out what Wonder Woman was saying here. You are banned. Because there's a couple of years ago, I'd go on road trips and the team would lose all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So Wonder Woman is banning me. Yeah, it'll be a fun lineup. My old client, Darren Langdon there. Steve Vickers was one of the all-time funniest guys. He's obviously older now, but he was a great teammate too. So, yeah, it'll be good.
Another good player.
Yeah. Jay Wells. Played with Jay. Jay was, I'll tell you, talk about an intense guy. Oh, yeah. So I went into LA when Jay was there, and he'd been there for 7 or 8 years, whatever. And so it was kind of like I had been with the Rangers, kind of his team. So I walk in the locker room, and I'm Mr. Smart ass talking all the time, yapping at everybody. He looked at me a couple of times. Like, he actually said something to me one time. We were on a bus. I think we were going from Boston to Hartford or something. And there's the night after a game, and everybody's tired. We're on the bus in the morning, and I'm just yapping away nonstop in the bus. He finally he turned to me too, and he was mad. He says, "You shut up," or like something like I don't know if he actually said he was going to punch me in the head or not. He says, "You shut the F up." And I thought at first like he was joking. Now I deserved it too. There's no question. It's just and
it was weird though, didn't he? Too? He played for Rangers also.
Yep, won the cup. He was with the Rangers and won the cup. Yep.
94.
Yep. Yeah, he was good. He's a great team guy. I tell that story, but that's not how he was. He was a good, great team guy, and I deserved everything. I was
pretty tough guy too.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. He was definitely one of those guys that if he ever got beat, he would come back. And like if sometimes, as you know, in a fight, if you got beat, there's a little bit of hesitation. This guy hurt me last time or whatever. Not with him. It was the exact opposite. He would intentionally just stand back and throw bombs. Like he
was sorry the first fight was stopped.
Yeah. It was a Brad May, I think, in Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
And he beat Jay, and then Jay came back, and it was hilarious because he's just like, oh my God. Yeah, he was good. My rookie year, his rookie year, when we played the Kings and had that big brawl in the playoffs, he got paired up with Barry Beck. Oof. And I guess supposedly I didn't see it happening during the brawl, but Barry had grabbed him and choked him out. He actually passed out on the ice.
Really? Yeah.
Bubba was like, it was no, it's not against Jay. It's just the Bubba was such a freaking monster. Yeah. Let me see here. What a boy. See if Danny's writers are in town still or not. Tommy's been cut from the alumni squad for lackluster play. I definitely have been. I wouldn't say I've been cut. I think time is up for my career in the alumni. Yeah. That's the best way to put it. Yes. Yeah. Which is a shame too. I loved the alumni games. They were good. Actually, one of the funniest guys I played with, somewhat conditioning. It was like before the pandemic, when we had the home and home series against the Bruins, and I played with Darius Kasparaitis, and he was totally into fitness too. And he was funny.
He's a funny dude. Yeah.
Oh, there's a guy that's a nutcase where they asked before people.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy out there. So I think I told you we were sitting with a couple of retired Navy SEALs, and one guy was like high up Navy SEAL, and we got into discussion about the military and everything. And Darius pulled out his phone, and I didn't know what he was doing at first. He pretended he was talking to Putin, and now the Navy SEAL, I guess he was so trained, he knew exactly what Kasparov was doing. He says, "Remember, I've got a B-52 and I know where you live," or something like that. So it's pretty cool. There's funny stuff. 1 o'clock game today, right? U.S. and Finland.
Yeah.
And then 8 o'clock tonight. So if if they go into a tie, they're eliminated. If they play overtime, both those teams. I shouldn't say that. Both those teams are eliminated if Sweden wins tonight.
Yeah.
So because Sweden hasn't won a game. That's hard to believe. They've got 2 ties. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a pretty good club too.
Yeah, they really do.
It just shows you how level of play.
You know, the one thing I think goaltending has really shown too, again, the U.S. played great against Canada, but Connor Hellebuck had to make some big saves to hold him in there.
I don't think there's much much separation between any of these teams, really.
Yeah, totally.
And that comes down to well.
Yeah. So I think I mentioned to you, so people know, I think I can say this now. I've been approached by the people that are put on. Mark Pavlich has his foundation called Teammates for Life, it's called.
Right.
And they've got a building out in a ranch. Oh, it's awful. I'll get the details on it. Wonder Woman's probably got it. Out in Minnesota. And they're putting on a charity event, a gala. I guess we call it. I feel kind of weird calling it a gala. Can they call it a gala? Is there another word for gala?
Sure. No, that's it. That's the word. Yeah.
Gala? I just don't feel right calling it.
It's festive. It's, it's a big event. Yeah.
I guess maybe it's my insecurity, like, my manhood, calling it a gala.
Well, it's spelled Gala.
Right.
So you're okay.
I'm okay. But just okay. So it's clearly my issue, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So so we're having it's going to be at Chelsea Piers in Manhattan, same place where we have the Skate with the Greats for the Ronald McDonald House. October 15th is going to be the date. So pulling that all together right now. Some really great guys. One of Pav's best friends, well, probably his best friend growing up. This Ron. Oh, you know him? Yes, Ron Tomasino.
Yeah.
Tomasoni. Yeah.
Yeah, he coached at Harvard for 13 years. Yeah.
That's right. It's the only thing we have to get. We're dealing with a lot of the Harvard guys, which that whole like, I went to Northern Michigan. So these are these Harvard, Yale kind of guys and everything like that. Like, okay, settle down.
Yeah. You're probably from the same, like we used to go to parties in high school in another town. They'd open it. You from Oakland? Yeah, they shut the door on our face.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I had a buddy of mine from college. I'll tell you. Well, Walt Kyle, your old buddy, coached with he was a teammate of mine, and his brother is Walt Kyle. We call him, John Kyle, and we call him Junior. And I remember when I left college to come to New York, he says, "I better." So we always say jeans and t-shirts. He says, "I better not see you wearing a pair of slacks," and that always hung with me. I said, "I can't." It was that kind of signified to me that. Yeah, but it kind of signified to me if I started wearing slacks that I'd kind of lost who I was,
Yeah.
I had some really nice cowboy boots. I gave those. I think I got rid of them, just wore out after a while, so I never got new ones. I'm down to one pair of cowboy boots now. So,
well, I know what to get you for Christmas.
Good point by you. Yes, good point by you. What else is going on? There's something else I want to discuss with you. So some other. I have been kind of slacking off on my reading up on quantum computing. Very interesting stuff though. Like the whole parallel universe thing's really got me interested. It makes me think about it more and more, how the possibilities that really is the case. Like,
could be. I mean, it's kind of overwhelming when you see those photographs of like, here you are.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
In the universe, like just our galaxy has got I forget how many, but yeah.
And all the talk about like all the possibilities, like, are we a simulation?
Right.
Like we could be on a kid's computer in a basement.
Yeah.
And you think oh no, I can't be. But then you think, well, yeah. I mean, you look at
some kids sitting there like this.
Yeah. And there's the other one too, that okay, so we're doing this podcast now. So we assume that around the world, everybody's doing their thing. But there's one theory that, well, no, the rest of the world really isn't doing anything. It's like our podcast is on. I know this is probably the egotistical way of looking at it.
Yeah.
That our podcast. And then once we start interacting with the rest of the world, okay, then it'll start up again. Like it'll start doing.
I think that's true.
You think that's true?
Yeah, I think the whole world shut down. Right?
Just for
the stock market just shut down too. They wait.
Right. Oh God, do you follow this? I mean, I
look at the big number. The
Dow. I know. And it's such a crapshoot too. Do these people really know? Yeah, I think so much of this electronic trading too. It's like they make trades in like a quarter of a second.
Pretty sophisticated, but we got to get that Nancy Pelosi tracker though.
Oh, I know. We should do that. That's right.
5% return.
Okay. Oh, that's what I'm so glad you brought that up. That's what I wanted to discuss. And I love doing what Trump's doing. I love doing what Musk is doing, getting rid of all the, the money, wasted money and all this kind of stuff. But part of the root of the evil is this insider trading that our politicians are allowed to do. So I think most people are aware that. So insider trading is that if you're has some inside knowledge about a company that the rest of the public doesn't have, and then you make a stock trade based on that inside information, you can technically go to jail for that stuff, right? Yeah, it's fraud. But the government has created laws where the Nancy Pelosi's and Republicans, Democrats, everybody, that doesn't apply to them.
Right.
Now they have an act that they started, the Stock Act, STOCK. It started 2012, which was supposed to monitor that they had to report, I think, within 45 days of making a trade. But nobody monitors that. Like, it's there. I think they more made the law to make it look like they were doing something, but then nobody does anything about it. So yeah.
It'd be nice to have that inside. I think her husband sold some stock that she was on the oversight committee and knew that they were going to get hit by something that would cause the stock to drop. And he sold millions of dollars worth of shares.
And I like how they act like, well, it's just no big deal. Like,
I was lucky.
Yeah. So like people they don't understand, and I'm learning more about this all the time. The problem is, so they're supposed to make decisions about past laws, about what's right for us as citizens and taxpayers of the United States. But if they're going to be able to make a couple $1 million on a deal because they get to pass the law that helps them make that money, now obviously they're not making the decision based on what's right for us. They're making it. So that's the problem.
I think what's even more concerning to me is this whole, we're finding out now we spent X amount on shrimp, like a shrimp fight club.
Right.
So what does that mean? That means that it's a payoff. Like somebody's getting a grant because they did something for them. It's a quid pro quo. And, I think we can survive without spending $100,000 or whatever it is on a shrimp fight club.
Yeah.
Cool concept. I mean, I like to watch them duke it out and everything, but
should have like what you do? Like have those they have those meetings, those hearings, and everything. Have them all nude. And
that would be very transparent. But I also think they should
very transparent.
Yeah, I think what they should do too, like at these meetings, is have like just an outsider, like just some guy, like a guy from Jersey.
Oh,
like could just look like across the get the out of here. And we're not doing that. Like somebody just a real.
I know.
Yeah.
Like it's like I guess because I'm more aware now, I'm thinking there's so many of these rules and regulations that are just like interfering with our life that I think they make these rules up just to make it look like they're doing something. Like daylight savings times. Do you know daylight savings times was started by some guy in New Zealand? He was a bug hunter. I think his name was Hudson. Last name was Hudson. And he was wanting to hunt bugs, so he wanted to have an extra 2 hours to hunt these bugs. So he came up with the concept of daylight savings.
Yeah. But I want to. Where's all this light that they've been saving? Where are they keeping it?
I know. Well, there's the funny saying. A Native American once said, "Only a white man would think it's if you chop the top foot off of a pole and added it to the bottom of the pole was going to be longer."
Right.
Yeah. That was pretty.
No, that's a good one. I like it. Yeah.
All right, brother. So 1 o'clock game time. I'm going to go and make some homemade meatloaf. I think I'll take a baked potato that I've got made up. I'm going to slice it. Don't let meatloaf. I'm going to. I've got some nutritional yeast in there. Lots of vegetables. So it's pretty healthy. Yeah. And then I'm going to take a baked potato that I've got left over, slice it in half, put it on the cast iron skillet. Nice. Heat up the mashed potatoes. Or excuse me. Heat up the meatloaf in the cast iron skillet as well. A little salt and pepper. Maybe a little butter in the bottom there.
Yeah, no, butter is good for you, man. Butter is not.
I know, right? Yeah.
It's seed oils. It's not butter. Yeah. It's seed oil.
Yeah. I know. See the sugars too, right?
Seed oil and sugar. Yeah.
Yeah.
It isn't butter. Yeah.
All right, but all right. Exciting game. What prediction for the game today? The game today is again Canada and Finland at 1 o'clock.
I'm going to say Canada by a goal.
Okay, by a goal. Yeah. And then the game tonight really doesn't mean anything to the U.S.
Yeah. You wonder. I still think the U.S. will win, but they'll get a little bit of a scare, maybe.
So let's say Canada and Finland go into an overtime. Mm-hmm. So automatically they then need Sweden to lose outright, right?
True. Yeah.
So if they go into overtime and now U.S. is playing Sweden, they can determine who they're playing in the final game.
Yeah.
Right. So if they lose to Sweden, well, depending on who wins the overtime game, Finland or Canada, they'll know who they're playing, or they can just let Sweden win, and then they're playing Sweden in the final. Yeah.
Well, I think they want Canada.
Oh man, Isn't that in Boston too? Oh,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Oh, hold on, Susan. One good point by Susan here. Nothing has happened to the sourdough, Susan. That's more of a regular staple. Thank you for bringing it up, though. Actually, we got some sourdough in the oven right now. Proofing. We call it in the industry, in the sourdough industry, we call that proofing. Okay. Not rising. Rising is more of a like sexual term. This is proofing. Okay.
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Enjoy the hockey tonight, and everybody have a fantastic week. See you, brother.